Good morning, children. Hope you all are fit and fine. Today we'll start a new chapter, Chapter 3, Journal OOP Concepts. We'll be doing evolution of software, programming paradigms, and basic concepts of OOPs inside this chapter. Now, we'll start with the evolution of software. As we all know that computer has two parts, hardware and software part. If we want hardware to work smoothly, we require a software, and to develop a software, we require a programming language. So programming language can be categorized into low-level language and high-level language. Low-level language are easily understood by the machine, or we can say computer, and high-level language are easily understood by the user. Now talking about the low-level language, they are machine-oriented. And to develop a program in machine language, we require that we should have an extensive knowledge of computer hardware components. Low level language, under this category there are two languages, machine language and the assembly language. Machine language, in this instruction or statements or expression are written in binary coding. Binary coding or binary language have strings of 0 and 1, or we can say the statements are written in the strings of 0 and 1, and it is the only languages computer understand directly. But if we talk about the user has to be well versed in the machine, or it should have knowledge of the hardware component of the machine, then only he can develop the program in machine language. Talking about the assembly language, it contains the binary coding as well as some of the instruction are in the form of English keywords also. Assembly language uses symbolic name for machine operation like read, add, etc. But it requires a special software known as assembler, which convert the assembly language program into the machine language. Why we have to convert it? So that computer can work on the instruction given in the machine language or assembly language program. Now talking about the high level language, it is it is a language which user can easily understand, but if we are going to execute the program written in high level language, it requires special software known as translator, and which will translate the program written in high level language to low level language, so that computer can follow the instruction given in the high level language program. Now the next topic is your programming paradigms. Now, to write programs in any of the language, we require a method or a approach, or you can say a style. We have to follow that, and there are many paradigms or the styles or way of writing the methods, and they are procedural approach, structural approach, modular approach, and the object oriented approach. Out of these, object oriented approach is the newest one. Now we'll start with the procedural approach. In procedural approach, a program is written as a list of instruction, and in which each statement it tells the computer to do some task, and the focus is on the processing and the algorithm needed to perform the desired computation. This is what the procedural approach follows. Now there are some characteristics of this approach, like emphasis is given on the function or the logical step we are writing. Then functions share the global data, and data values can keep floating from one function to another, and it uses top down approach of programming. Now drawback of the procedural programming is that emphasizes on the function rather than the data item. Now why this is a drawback? Because whenever we make a program, we focus on the data, or everything is done for the data only. But here in this procedural approach, emphasis is not given on the data items, but it is given on the function. If we talk about the inventory, or we can say in talking about the bank account, everything is done on the amount or the the money which is being deposited, but we are not focusing on the amount, or we are not focusing on the inventory, but we are focusing how it is, the data is being manipulated. This is the basic drawback of the procedural programming. We are not focusing on the values on which we are working, but rather we are focusing in how those values can be manipulated. So this is a big drawback of this procedural programming. And the procedural programming approach is not suitable for the real world situation. So that's why this these are the drawback of procedural approach. Now the next approach is your modular programming approach. In this approach, our big program or our main program is being divided into sub-program or small programs, and those sub-program can be known as modules or the functions or subroutines in different languages. So now there is a the main characteristics of this modular approach is efficient program development and multiple use of subprogram and ease of debugging and modifying the subprograms. Now there are drawback of modular programming also. Too many modules can reduce the performance. If we are developing many modules in the same program, it will definitely affect the performance or the speed of the execution of your program. And excessive modularization can lead to code that is difficult to read. If there are many modules or the function in the same program, it will definitely make the clearness or effectiveness of the program. Now the next approach is your object oriented programming approach. Now in this approach, all the drawbacks of the previously mentioned approaches are being removed, or we can say it removes all the problems which are in the previously defined approaches. Like and what are the characteristics of object oriented approach? It gives stress on the data items, means as we have discussed in the procedural approach, in procedural approach emphasis was given on the function, but in object oriented approach the stress is given on the data item rather than the function, and it makes a complete program simpler by dividing into number of objects. Then object can be used as a bridge to have data flow from one function to another, and we can easily modify data and function as per our requirement. Now to solve any problem in object oriented language, the object oriented programming paradigm uses some concept to solve a problem. And what are those concepts? The concepts are data abstraction, modularity, then inheritance, polymorphism, etc. These are some of the concepts which are being used to solve a problem. So let's begin with the data abstraction. Data abstraction means hiding the unnecessary detail and showing the essential detail. Like if we have to drive a car, we don't have to know the internal circuit of the car, but we have to know about the external circuit, like how to change the gear, how to handle the steering, how to change the gears, and how to increase the accelerator or decrease the accelerator. These are some of the common features which we have to know if we want to drive the car. We don't have to go into the internal circuit of the car. So this is what is being done in the programming extract also. The function which we require currently, it has to be shown and it can be used by the object, but the function which are not required currently, that they are kept hidden. So this is what the data abstraction does. Now next function is next concept is encapsulation. Now in encapsulation we bind the data and its associated function together. So this is what encapsulation is, or we can say in a program data cannot move freely from one function to another, and they are kept in the corresponding classes in such a way that they will not be accessible to the outside world. Until and unless a user have the authority to use the data in a particular class, he cannot use that data. And we cannot use the data outside the class. The data must be kept hidden, so that it cannot be used unnecessarily or unauthorized by the unauthorized person. It should be kept hidden. So for that purpose we require the feature encapsulation. Encapsulation binds the data and its associated function together. Like if we want to use a TV, we have to use the remote of that TV only. It cannot be handled by the other remote or other TV remote. So this is what encapsulation is. An encapsulation feature can be implemented by using the class. Next is your modularity. In modularity, we divide our program into small components known as the functions or modules, so that we can easily debug and modify the program. The function which has to be modified, only we will modify that function only. We don't have to disturb the other functions. This is what modularity is. Then inheritance. Inheritance is means using the function which is already defined. We don't have to define it again and again. It implements the reusability feature of the object oriented programming. Once we define a particular class and the function and the data inside it, we if we require that in another class also, we can only extend that or we can reuse that. We don't have to redefine it. So this is what inheritance is. Next feature is polymorphism. Polymorphism is the important feature of object oriented programming. Without the polymorphism feature, any object oriented language cannot be called as fully object oriented, but it becomes object based language. So what is polymorphism? Polymorphism means poly means many and morph means forms. So polymorphism means available in many forms. Any operation that exhibit different behavior and instances, and that behavior depends upon the type of data used in the operation. I just want to explain this with an example. Suppose we have two data values and they are numeric values, and if we want to apply a function add on that, so it will add the two numeric values. And if the values we are passing in the function are string type, then add function will concatenate them. It will not add them, it will not apply the mathematical function, but it will apply the string function on those values. So it depends on the data which is being passed to the function, that which function is being applied on a particular data plays an important role in this. So this is what polymorphism is. So children, with this